Hey, this is Kelly with Kelly's Magical Realm, and I'm doing a channeled message of Jim Morrison and Michael Hutchence. And it actually started with Michael. I was feeling sad and I was in my hallway, and all of a sudden I heard intuitively, "I'll give you what you need. Hey, here's a story. Forget about your troubles in life." And it was Michael. And Jim is with them, and they were saying happy holidays. And then they were telling me that I was going through an ascension, and they said a lot of people are right now. So I'm sure a lot of people would like to hear this, and they said, like a snake shedding. And then Jim was saying not to touch the earth, not to see the sun, let's run. And they said, let's go and just jump, like just jumping into a new timeline, you know. And they said, you'll feel better in the morning. And they were mentioning December 25th. So they were saying you'll feel better December 25th. So if you're watching this while I'm recording it, it's December 25th, 2025. They said there's a Venus and Mars convergence going on right now. Like an alchemical dance. And I saw Jim dancing with a snake, and the snake was rising, and Jim was saying he's the medicine man, the shaman, the alchemical priest performing a ceremony. And then he said, a feast of friends, alive she cried, break on through to the other side. He said to break on through the other side of pain and fear. He said to let go, enjoy the ride. And then he said, my wild love went riding. And then he was mentioning the vagus nerve, like resetting that with breathing, like to really slow down and to rest right now. They both said to go within, and they had past lives in Paris. So I thought that was pretty cool when they were talking about that. And Michael said, you're one of my kind. And he was like singing one of his songs, and they were both smiling. They have a really good relationship too, like brothers. I heard them say they were acting like brothers. I heard camaraderie, and they're playful spirits. And then Michael showed me a vision of him in a bathtub right before he died, just like Jim. Jim was in the bathtub. Jim was actually in the bathtub when he died, but Michael wasn't. But Michael showed me that because he said, he goes, I didn't hang myself. And he goes, I didn't kill myself. He said someone else did it. And he also mentioned that to me the last time I channeled him. So I think that's something that he wanted to get out again to people. And then they were both talking about renewal right now, renewal of the snake, year of the snake. We're still in it right now. He said people are having a hard time right now being in their bodies, adjusting to these current frequencies right now, and having a hard time just being themselves, And also, Jim was mentioning some things about the snake. Like he was going into, because I kind of asked him, what is all this about him talking about snakes all the time in his songs? And then he was like, he basically was mentioning the snake, like the king snake, the cobra, power. He said powerful between two worlds, and that was like Jim. In his life as Jim, he was between two worlds. He said he just told me a walker of two worlds. And that's why he talked about it. Like he felt like a snake in a way, like a snake spirit. He had a snake spirit animal around him. And he had past lives where he had snakes, like when he was a shaman, and he said like the snake is like your guide, especially when he was doing shamanic work, because they're like your guide. They help you on spiritual journeys, and the snakes can see in other dimensions, he said, just like he can, just like he could when he was in his life as Jim. And then again he said he was the medicine man in the past life, And I wrote all this down in notes, by the way, because I couldn't, there's no way I would have remembered all this. And he was saying, don't fear the spiritual snake. And he was mentioning that to me because I see snakes a lot too, but I have a snake spirit animal as well. And I do get scared at times, I'm not going to lie. When I see a snake in my third eye, I do get nervous at times. But he's helping me to feel more comfortable with that. And then he was saying, I'm a spy in the house of love. And he was saying, when he said that in the song, he was mentioning he's a seer between the worlds, like when he was in his life as Jim. You know, that empathic part of him, I know what you're thinking. And he would get visions as Jim. He could see between worlds like the snake. He also mentioned when he was referring to snakes in his songs, it's the Kundalini energy rising. You know, he also mentioned a past life he had as a Confederate soldier. That I like that, how he did that. We were talking about snakes, and then he just wanted to be in a Confederate soldier, and he showed me him in a gray uniform at a ball. He was just mentioning some stuff to me. So I thought that was pretty cool, because he had that song, The Unknown Soldier, so that was him he was mentioning he was a Confederate soldier. And then, let's see, he also mentioned, he was also talking about, I'm going home to the place of my birth tomorrow. He was saying, he was quoting one of his songs. I think he was kind of referring to that about Christmas and about ascension and stuff when he was getting into that. And he was saying, look up at the stars tonight too. He's like, start looking more outside at the night sky. He mentioned, he goes, out here there are no stars, we are stoned immaculate. But he was kind of pointing out, looking out the window and looking at the night sky. Start doing that, you know, because Spirit's trying to send us all messages. And that's pretty much it that they both said. I like how Jim ended it. Jim basically said his last words were, set the night on fire. Trying to set the night on fire. Time to set the night on fire. So I thought that was pretty cool. But I just wanted to leave this message for everyone. I thought it was really great how they both came in together. And thanks for watching.